What up, YouTube? So I was watching this video. I forgot which one it was. It also could have been an article I was reading, but it talks about how when we're getting dopamine, like our brain just doesn't care. It doesn't care like how stupid it is, whether it's a slot machine or you're playing lotto or you're drinking like your sixth beer or you're spending your like fifth hour in a row on the internet when you should be going to sleep so you can get up for work the next day. Um, and yeah, that just got me thinking about our reward system, which I'm always thinking about because I want to, can't really directly modify your behavior, otherwise people would just do it. If they just be like, oh, I want to lose weight or gain weight or exercise or stop doing whatever behavior that either they don't like about themselves or their spouse doesn't like or their friends don't like. So yeah, it just made me think that we really don't understand cost benefit very well, and that society lies to us about that. Now, when I say society, I just mean powers that be, the cultural influences we have, big business, the media, the government, even our family. We're all susceptible to that, and our dopamine systems are primed when we're little kids and we want cookies, and we don't have our full prefrontal cortex to defend us. So we just have to be constantly on guard against these impulses that have been set in place when we're really young. And I think part of the value of the passion, having a passion, or even a hobby, passions really stem from hobbies and interests. So you don't have to worry about some great passion right off the bat. Just follow your interests, but be careful of getting your interest too watered down, because that's another problem of the modern era. You could be interested in, I don't know, World War II history. Okay, I don't know anything about World War II history, so maybe it's a bad analogy, but you could be interested in a particular movie and you really want to understand it more deeply, but then you end up on the Wikipedia page of one of the minor actors reading about his marriage to his third wife. It's like everything's at our fingertips, but because everything's at our fingertips, it's really easy to get distracted. But to get back to my point, people think of a passion as the end in of itself, but part of the beauty of a passion is it takes away. It's about what it adds to, but it's also about what it takes away. Focus is really a taking away. When you're focused, you're looking at one thing, and all the little minutia that you could be distracted by disappears. So I just think of the book Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willink, which is kind of a crap book. The font is this big and there's 3 words on each page, and he could have said it on a few flashcards, but he made a whole book. Nothing against the guy, he seems alright, but the book was just a cash grab, with a few inspirational quotes and not very well organized, but the message still stands, that what you have to sacrifice for what you want isn't a burden. That's part of what you're signing up for. That's part of the good thing about it. If you get married and you're well, I can't sleep with other people, I can't chase people or emotions, I can't, even more than chasing women or men, whatever you're into, is chasing some emotion, meeting someone new and thinking, oh, they're gonna give me a new feeling, this is gonna be it, this is gonna be the one. When you're married, you're probably gonna lose that feeling pretty quick. Even if you are so in love in the beginning, you're gonna be you're not gonna get those butterflies. Hopefully you'll still get them once in a while, but then you're okay, well, now I'm not gonna get distracted by other women or men, and I'm just going to have to adapt to this person, and hopefully they'll bring out the best in me and I can bring out the best in them. Just get focused. And the reason I thing that inspired this video is my right, actually I'm going to switch, see, it's hard to hold with the left because the camera's right there, but my right forearm and wrist all the way down to my elbow, it's really been painful lately, and originally I'm like, oh, maybe it's from working out, but I noticed my right was way worse than my left, and my right is my dominant arm, my right is my mouse arm. So I'm playing when I'm playing blitz chess and like going really fast and jerky, blitz and bullet, which I've sworn off so many times. It hurts. Typing is okay. It's just the sudden mouse movements, and it's just repetitive stress. I think most injuries nowadays that aren't like a hard fall or something like that, it's probably repetitive stress. And it's one thing to be like, well, I gotta stop doing this behavior. This behavior is harmful. But if you don't have anything better to do, for most people, most of the time, it's just not gonna happen. So for me, like with the weight training, that is something better to do, and it's my job now. So I feel like an obligation to continue getting stronger and stronger and to not get injured. Because how am I gonna help anyone else if I'm not leading by example? And I feel behind because I'm 43 years old. I don't really like the shape I'm in. I feel it's kind of funny because I had a bad eating disorder for like almost my whole 20s. I'm like a 6'3", 6'2.5", and I got down to 118 pounds. So I wish I could find some photos of myself from back then, but I think I just didn't keep a good track of them, because who really wants to see themselves like that? I looked like a concentration camp victim. Not too soon after that, I just went on a crazy binge, gained like 30 pounds in a month, and my body was just like, my head was diluted. But that goes back to my earlier point of, sure, society lies to you, and the priorities of the mainstream shouldn't be your priorities, and you should be skeptical about them. But then people can go to another extreme where they're like, well, the mainstream's lying to me. But then they find some niche thing. Like for me, it was this whole raw food thing. I'm like, I just went down that rabbit hole really deep, and I'm like, well, this is the answer. If I just get my diet right and just eat clean enough and fast enough and purify myself enough, then I'm gonna reach some kind of enlightenment. And really, I just damaged my body, probably irrevocably, and I'm still recovering from it. So anyway, back to the working out thing. Because that's a passion of mine, I have to make a decision regarding like my internet use. It's not enough to be like, well, this is bad, but I'm just going to keep doing it because it's kind of fun and distracting and entertaining and keeps me from dealing with my emotions. It's like, no, I have to stop, because if I don't stop, my elbow's going to get worse, and I'm already starting to get a little bit of numbness, and like my grip strength is decreasing in my right hand. And that's just it's not acceptable to me. A lot of people are like, try to be all macho. They're like, this is unacceptable. I hold myself to a high standard. But I don't know, maybe I'm just jealous and hating on them. I don't know. But I like to, think, but what I really think is like, we're all various levels of weak, and we're going to do what we can get away with, and we're going to do what we have to do to like get what we want. And if we don't have a lot that we want, and we don't have a lot of passions that require sacrifice, then we're just not going to make those sacrifices. We're going to spend our whole lives being like, I should do that, I should do that, I'd like to do that. Like take fighting, for example. Like I've always wanted to do martial arts, right? It's like always been one of these things in my head. I like dabbled a little bit when I was younger and took a class, even a few months here and there, but I realized like at this point it's probably not something that I'm going to get into unless like my friends are into it, because I don't live in an environment where I have to like fight to survive. Like Bruce Lee like grew up in Hong Kong amongst gangs and stuff, so for him it was usually something starts from necessity, or it has like a very high reward in the beginning, and then you might stick with it long past when the reward is over. These are good things and bad things. Like a lot of people might start exercising because they got picked on in school and they want to be stronger. And then long since they've grown up, their like social skills are good, like, no one's bothering them anymore, but they just keep at it because they love it. But then some things, like for me, chess, like I started playing for like the camaraderie, and I really liked the chess club in my college. It wasn't stereotypical at all. It was like, there was a lot of, well, I don't want to say well-adjusted. We were talking about chess players here, but it was cool. There was like boys, girls, like we partied. It was fun. And then I kind of rode on that initial feeling, and of course I got into the game. I got into all the, the intricacies, and I got into the rating system and wanting to improve. But I got to the point now, like, I'm not willing to put in the effort to improve in that area. And so if you continue, and if you don't mind, if you find something really intrinsically fun, you should just keep at it. Who cares if you're like the best or better than your friends or like the worst person in the room? If you really love something, it shouldn't matter. But if one of your motivations is improvement and you're not improving, and you don't have like all those initial rewards, you should just like not maybe totally stop doing it, but really cut it down, because life is too short to like do something half-assed. And you want to have passions that pull out of you and require you to make sacrifices. I mean, the ultimate passion that requires you to make sacrifices, I would say, is your family. Like kids, you can't always do what you want. But I mean, one thing I realized, having spent most of my life alone, is that left to my own devices, I'm going to waste a lot of time. And maybe if I'd been raised differently and I was this like super autodidact, super self-motivated person that like everybody on YouTube gets excited about and wants to be, that self-improvement junkies like fantasize. But most people are just not like that. Some people are just, they can go in a room and study and focus, and they don't have very strong social needs. They don't have very strong extrinsic reward needs. They can just really focus like that. But I'm not one of them, and I don't think most people are like that. So you just got to be real with yourself. And what was the title of this video again? I've been pausing. That's why I don't think I've been hesitating this much. But give me feedback if I have been saying like and all that stuff. I think I've been better about that. What was the title of the video? Remind me in the comments. The title of the video was, oh yeah, why sacrifices are good. I haven't said it on the title. I don't know whether it's going to be, maybe sacrifice is the better part of passion. I don't know. I got to think about that. But when a passion of yours or even a hobby makes you have to make sacrifices and rethink your life, that's a good thing. That's a reason to stick with it. Unless the sacrifices are too much, and that's individual. If you're giving up too much money, family time, it's harming your work, then it's more of an addiction than a passion. But who knows, even your addiction might lead to a passion later. Some people have a passion to help people stop being addicted. And I do think that part of overcoming any addiction is replacing it with some kind of positive passion, because that type of craving mind is not just going to be satisfied without something serious to chew on. So anyway, I'll leave you guys with that. Thanks for watching. Please give feedback. I know I've been a little disorganized off the cuff here, but I just wanted to put this out here before I forgot my main ideas. Thanks for watching.